Syncretism here Friday night with host Kate of Gaia, and of course all the other co-hosts, Santo Bonacci. I'm here back from Jordan, so I take it he's not coming, and I know Tony's having a bit of a go right now, even just to get online, so looks like it's just you and me. Santo, how are you doing?
Yep, great, thanks. Yourself?
Pretty good. It's been a busy day, a lot of interesting information. Just got a little note in from Mary, and she makes a lot of beautiful points, so I'm going to cover some of them. Let me see. Oh, see, your radio show operates on sun time, not government control time. Yeah. Well, the sun says 7 p.m. right now. Yes, it does. But, of course, our clock says 8 p.m. here, which is just another way of throwing us off our cycles. Yeah, I can go over a few of these points. I do want to cover a bit of the astrotheology, obviously the astrotheology, especially this month, with all the stuff that's coming up. So, and I know you're always busy, Santo, looking in completely different areas, well, along the same lines and stuff, but you've got your... And let me see what we got here. One of the points that Mary made is an absolute critical one about the banks and how Iceland did what they did, right?
Yeah.
You know, it'd be so easy, but unfortunately what we're dealing with for the most part is a very sleepy populace, especially in North America, that has gotten gluttonous in its own greed, its own obesity of ignorance and otherwise, and has been completely ego-controlled, which is exactly by design. Again, this is not to fault people, this is just to make people aware of what's really going on. And, you know, they've got you looking at the Gawk box and following the sports teams and checking out CNN and following their little wars and paying their silly taxes. And, you know, and well dare you if you know, put your head up and say, wait a minute, that's when they come and shoot it off, because they like their establishment, you know. This is, and it's a much bigger game than the physical reality, we know that. And that's one of the other reasons why we bring in topics like, you know, time jumping and what have you. More along the lines to try to wake people up to the fact that this is not Kansas anymore, Toto. This is Oz. You are in a wonderland of a mental universe. And, yeah, just, what are your thoughts on that, Santo?
Oh, look, mate, my thoughts go to the book of Revelation, chapter 16. I remember when I was a good little Jehovah's Witness boy, we used to read these verses, the chapter 16, and apply it to the sleeping everybody else, you know, because the Jehovah's Witnesses, the supremacists that they are, and pedophiles, all condemned everybody else, but really it applies to them too, where it talks about the dunces that claim to be human beings walking on this planet, how the heavens poured plagues down upon them, but they did not repent from their idol worship. You put it really nicely there. They have idols. They are an idolatrous generation. They worship capitalism, democracy, government. They worship their opinions and the opinions of lying scientists and deceivers and pedophile priests. They go to church smacked out on Prozac and Zoloft and listen to the pedophile priests with their beautiful, nice Christian quote-unquote words. And they love it. And what happens at the end of Revelation is that in the end, the Creator says, well, I sent them a plague, I sent them 2, I sent them 3, I sent them 4, 5, 6, 7. They didn't get it? They're out of here. You know, the end is perdition, Kate.
I couldn't agree more, Santo. Absolutely. And I think the hardest part, and I'll speak for myself, but I got a sneaky suspicion this might cover you as well. We're not dealing in a physical universe. Yeah, we live here, and it's very real, you know. We can knock on wood and all the rest of it. But there's a certain point, at least with me, and I know with you and Tony and many others, there's a certain point that you get to that you go, what's the point? You know, what are we actually here to learn? what is the real message? Is it getting caught up in legal wranglings? Is it getting caught up in I don't know, day-to-day life? Is it, is it about chasing the almighty dollar and all the rest of this stuff? And I got to tell you, what I've been through absolutely and completely stripped that illusion away. It was quite rude, actually. So I've had my plagues. So carry on.
Well, look, it's all about remembering. It's not about learning. The great astrologer of the 13th century, Guido Bonatti, said that we are here to remember the divine nature that we once were, and the science of astrology is the means by which we do this, because in astrology is the answer to who we really are, because it's set in stone, it's set in the stars, and so it's about remembering. And the sooner we remember, absolutely the sooner we're out of here, because obviously the people caught up in vices and lust and commerce, they simply just don't know any better. Just like an animal who, you give him food and he wags his tail. Give them bread and circuses, and you can pretty much be their master, their little puppets.
Exactly. I'm going to ask you about a word, because I know you'll be all over this. Because I had a bit of a, one of those little epiphany moments. I had a conversation with an associate today that I have worked very closely with, following the Yellow Brick Road, and this individual will remain nameless. They've got a little mission to accomplish, and we were talking about that today, and it all revolves around the invocation of the cross. For anyone that thought that went to bed, no, not at all. Time and place. That was a very ethereal document. What I was trying to expose on that for people, if they could see it, was the nature of how they took universal law and papered it over with their corporate giving it the power. Now, are you familiar with the word apothecary?
Say that again.
Apothecary?
Oh, vaguely.
Vaguely, me too. So, but I got thinking about hypothecation. And an apothecary, which I've, for the life of me, it's just not in my head, and I know I've researched it, and it's just not there. So Google is my friend, so during the show I will actually have a little Google of that. But I thought, isn't that interesting that apothecary, which automatically conjures up visions of, someone who casts spells and someone that has, occult knowledge, and an apothecary, someone like a healer or whatever. But I'm definitely going to look into that during the show here. And then I thought, hypothecary. They sound an awful lot alike. And of course we know what the spellings of the words are all about. It's all about hypothecation, where a magician wearing a black robe hypothecates, or is the apothecary of your signature or your intent. So grabbing your universal divine, feminine essence spirit through the Regis stir, right? Nothing like stir in the pot. And using that magic to literally trap us here in our own spellings. And this has been you've walked this road a long time with me, so you really have a handle on where I'm coming from on this, in as much as I know exactly where you're going and why people really need to listen to what you were talking about. And actually, while I'm just going to do a little search here, and while I'm doing that, if you could carry on with the revelations, and I'm loving where you're going, because that's exactly where I was hoping you were going.
Yeah, look, the controllers, bankers, have killed, I don't know how many millions, hundreds of millions of people, and they did that as a favour to us, to wake us up in 1914. But guess what? Cars, televisions, radios, accessories, products, consumerism also sprang its ugly head up, and people got distracted and said, oh, well, that World War was pretty bad. This material stuff's pretty good. Let's grab a bit of that while we're here, And so then they sent another war in 1939 to, quote, wake us up, because that's what's going on. That is platform, this this show that is being played out. Because though we can judge those actions as evil of the banksters, they are doing us a favour. It's a plague sent from heaven to wake us up. But people, prefer to have a third world war than to wake up, because those flat screen TVs, they're pretty good to have in your house when your neighbours come to visit. You can point to them and say, look what I've got. And I've got 6 SUVs of different colours in my four-door garage. And look at, this is what's going on. We're dealing with human beings that just haven't done any evolution because of their distractions. And it's really, really sad, but, what can I do? It's not my fault. I didn't tell them to do that. So they will suffer the consequences, Kate. There will be great suffering from humanity. It's unfortunate, but they're off to do a couple of hundred more rounds of cycles of necessity, and they're going to be sodomized. Because
sounds like they're hacking us a little bit here. What else is new, guys? You know what? Grow up. Enough. Game's over, Unbelievable. I don't even know if I'm still on the air right now. Anyway, I guess I'll do a little shout out to the room. If you guys can hear me, I don't know, because I can't open my Skype on this end. I'm loving this. Anyway, I looked up Paul Carey. Actually, I'll bring the caller in. At least get the voice on the air. I'm just hoping that the caller can hear me. I don't even know if you can hear me, Santo. Oops, still not clicking here, so let's try that again. All right. There we go. Area 804. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Kate.
Hey, Hugh, how are you?
Good. I just came across the show, and I just wanted to announce that the website is active for LakotaGrandmothers.org. They're going to start their tour April 1st.
Oh, awesome. I'm not sure if I have Santo on the phone here. Oh, lost him, so I'm going to pull him back in. He got bumped, so just give me a second. All sorts of Skype fun. There we go. Let's see if we can get him back. It looks like it's going to be another fun roller coaster ride on Critical Mass Radio tonight with Syncretism. So hopefully Santo will get him back on. Oh, no, call failed. So it must be having an issue with his internet on his end. We'll just keep trying and we'll go from there. But anyway, if you want to expand on that a little bit, Hugh, please go ahead. Feel free.
Yeah, I had the leader of the Strong Hearts on with my partner on his blog talk show, Focus Change, and we're discussing some of the things that are going to be going on, and they have a documentary movie that's finished and just in the final editing stages that should be available very soon, and I think you can get it right from the site. There's a trailer on the site. The title of the movie is Red Cry, and again, the website is LakotaGrandmothers.org.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was listening. You stopped talking, and it's .org, and I'm going, oh no, did I get bumped now too, or what? Anyway, yeah. Of course, we're just going to get into some nitty gritty here with Santo, and and of course he gets bumped. So I'm waiting for him to get back to me. So bear with us, guys. You know what the shows are like. Anyway, carry on, Hugh.
Yeah, it's going to be quite an awakening for people because it really addresses the abuse and the corruption that has been going on for far too long on the reservation. It's not just the Pine Ridge Reservation, it's indigenous peoples all over the world. So I know that you touch on these things on some of your shows, but the grandmothers coming off the reservation to do a tour, I think that's sort of unprecedented. So it's going to be a big awakening.
No, exactly. And we do have Santo back. Hello.
Yeah. Where did I get dropped off?
Well, we just started into the Revelations thing, and Hugh actually just had an announcement there. What's the website, Hugh?
LakotaGrandmothers.org.
And they're going on tour, baby. The grandmothers are taking a walk. That's some pretty that's some powerful medicine. And speaking of, by the way, apothecary is one who does medicines, but I'm going to go a little deeper on that. Where was it? Apothecare, that's from Old French, medieval Latin. Apothecarius, both from Latin clerk. Oh, isn't that interesting? From apotheca, or storehouse, from Greek. And very interesting. Medicine, pharmacology, an archaic word for pharmacist. So that would almost be like an alchemist, given the correlations. So anyway, yeah, so I decided to throw that up. So yeah, we were in Revelations there, Santo.
Yeah, well, the point being is that the Revelation talks about humanity being sent plagues for the very purpose of elevating their consciousness, so that they would realize that suffering comes from commerce and lust and all of the things that our worldling brothers around us are indulging in, and that we need to repent from that. We need to see that that's not the way. It only pleases a handful of controllers, and but it's obvious that the masses are not repenting in their droves. If anything, they're off to the shops to get more flat screen TVs, because one of them's not enough. You've got to have one in every room now, and they just love it. The more gadgets and devices that come out, the more they want to rush off and grab them.
Yeah, it's sad, actually. It's funny, I was out on the deck there a little while ago watching some people, I guess Friday night, coming home with, bags full of, didn't look like groceries, And again, it's like at the end of the week, people, how much have I got? I can go out and buy trinkets and be a great consumer. And of course, for anyone that wants to do a tour of where their stuff that they're getting is going to be, just take a walk to your local, dump. Look at how much land reclamation has been done as a result of this consumerism. But you're so right, Santo. You're putting it a lot nicer than me lately. I've been just calling it what it is. Commerce is the whore of Babylon, and those that are worshiping that idol. Of course, in order to play with the whore of Babylon, you have to have the mark of the beast, which is, of course, as we know, is the name. I can get into all sorts of stuff on that. But, I mean, when you're down to the final pieces of what it is we've been looking at for so very long, we've been down so many rabbit holes. And the individual, like I said, I was talking to today, will be on a quest this week to take care of a remaining aspect of the invocation of the cross in a very physical form, given the information that this individual got a few years ago, and it was actually the invocation of the cross. That's Clausula Rebus Sextantibus. Just all you have to do is, if you want to find the document, invocation of the CRSS. It was just a coincidence that that it was CRSS, Clausula Rebus Sextantibus, which is the clause. It's effectively an escape clause from any treaty. And that's what I was honing in on with a couple of others, Zoe being one of them. November, December last year, and given the means at which I uncovered what I ended up writing and how I got to it, using the Supreme Bible, which is Black's Law Magic Book, people, I don't even bother to explain it now because people wouldn't believe me. Even if I did tell them, but you read the document and here's the long and short of it. Long form, short form. Long and short of it is it came out of a cartoon, a very specific cartoon, and it was laid out in perfect order. And when you start seeing things like that, you follow the yellow brick road, you follow those Hansel and Gretel trails, and it's amazing where it leads you. And for me, that was probably the biggest revelation of just how wondrous a world we are, in that you're absolutely right, Santo. This is about remembering, and I've had beautiful fleeting moments of remembering very powerful things. And of course, as you get them and you have these epiphanies, and then that beautiful moment, walks away on you. But you're left with the lingering air of it, and it's real. You experienced it. And you're right. The plagues, World War I, World War II. How many more wars do you guys need? How many more bullets do you feel that you need to buy with those tax dollars that you think you owe? I don't know about you, Santo or Hugh, at a very young age, first started working, and I noticed that they were taking slices off my paycheck. And I'm thinking, who the hell does that to anybody? That's theft. If anybody needs help, I'll help them myself, and I always have. So it's quite a sad state of affairs, and really, the points that Mary had brought up, we do have a very powerful voice in what we do. Unfortunately, I have to approach things, as we all do that are on the air, from the listener standpoint. And the listener standpoint is we have everyone out there, and this is not derogatory in any way. This is a matter of levels here of experience. Not that one is better than the other. It's just this is the only way to show the degree of difference. You have kindergarten to, masters, teaching the highest arts, and we're all in that to one degree or another at different levels, and I have to be very mindful of speaking from a very neutral point and covering everything that everyone can get without really repeating myself too much. That's one of the joys of what you do, Santo, and you bring astrotheology to the table where everyone from kindergarten to the master can understand it. It's quite a gift, and I really appreciate your gift.
Yeah, thanks, Kate. Yep, well, you'll only stand to benefit from it. The deniers and the naysayers are only hurting themselves and falling prey to the controllers that have destroyed the astrotheological wisdom that was bequeathed to us by a far more enlightened society and world than we have today. First thing that they go after is the most truthful and beneficial of things. And there is nothing more beneficial than the science of astrology to the health of the human being. There's not a thing that can benefit the individual more than the knowledge of who they are, as above, so below. And your birth chart is your character reference. Your birth chart is your CV, your resume. It tells forth who you really are. You can point to your diplomas on the wall. You can point to your certificates and your degrees. Those are just pieces of paper. And you can go into court with sworn affidavits and witnesses testifying to your good character. But as we know, those situations can be subject to prejudice, bias, lies, bribery. It's easy to bribe someone and to rock into court, to tell the court and the judge that you're a fine person in fine standing in the community, and yet inside there are creeping, crawling, reptilian, dirty, filthy, animalistic vices. And how many times have we seen mafioso types and politicians and liars and pedophiles walk out of court because 6 or 7 character witnesses turned up with sworn affidavits and supported the fine public character of the person before the courts. But rest assured, every one of us has a birth chart. Every one of us has a configuration in the heavens, and that configuration tells forth everything about you. And as for me, I'm pretty proud of my birth chart. I'm writing an article at the moment, Kate. I'm writing an article which I will use as my character reference. I'll be posting it soon. Because as you know, we get attacked by people who just don't like what we say. Now, suffice to say that I know who I am. I know my chart, and I'm happy to make that public so that people know that what they see is what they get with me. And, as for the naysayers and the attackers, let's see their charts, because they can say they're saints, they can say that they are forthright and good as much as they want. That's just empty words. Let's see your chart. Whoever you are out there that attacks the truth that is said from this platform, because I will show from the chart the deviousness of the individual. And I'm going to make public my chart, and I'm going to bring quotes from all of the astrologers to show who I am. And the heavens declare my true character. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud of my chart. I know why I chose it. We all choose our native chart, each and every one of us. If you were born under a grand cross, you chose it. If you were born under a grand trine, you chose it. If you were born Sagittarian, you chose it. Whatever you have, that is your choice, and this is how it works. Souls that are looking for incarnation so that they can further their evolution, because you cannot further your evolution in the spirit realms. This is why we're here. We are here to further and grow our spiritual atoms and molecules that have been with us for ages. And that's why we're on this plane, so that we can, refine and lead into gold. And whatever you choose, what happens is, according to Thomas H. Burgoyne, who explained it very clearly, souls can only manifest on the physical plane when the right conditions in the solar system, i.e. the orbs, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, Venus, the Moon, the Sun, are in the right place to resonate with the vibration of the soul. So, when someone is born a criminal, that's pretty much what their chart indicates. That can be changed. You can transform that. And we all have done that. We've all transformed things that were deficient in our character, in our nature. We've all done that. I have. I've transformed. Most of my life has been a transformation process for me, and it will never end, because I'm on the path. Regardless of wherever I am on that path, I might be just beginning. I don't know, but I'm on the path, and I will not get off that path.
So that makes two of us. And if you want, at some point during the show, I go ahead and I would say, just because it's neutral, tear my chart apart and show people who I am. That would be kind of cool, I think, because I think there's enough people listening out there that it might be able to tie in the importance and relevance of what the charts really are and what they are saying. And it truly is a know thyself business. And Monsieur Burgoyne and Bonatti, as you were talking about, Guido Bonatti, and we had a chat about this earlier in the week. It's mind blowing and mind numbing at the same time. It is that powerful once you start seeing what is really going on, where these things start getting lifted. And I mean, when we stop and think about the gifts that so many people from the past, have kept alive and brought forward, it's not difficult to resonate with truth. When you hear it, you know it. So feel free if you want to do that and have some fun with my chart, and at least that way people can have a sense of reality on it. And I don't mind my character being highly visible for all to see. I mean, I think over the last 5 years I've been pretty good at that on the air, and for many years on the stage with my guitar and the songs I write. Because I often told people, if you want to know who I am, just listen to my songs.
Yeah, true. Well, you and I both have a Leo ascendant, Leo rising sign. Well, you might want to be proud of that, Kate. I am. I'm very proud because it gives you a kingly nature. It gives you a royal quality. This is what Firmicus Maternus says about Leo ascendants. Many toils and dangers are indicated by the ascendant in Leo, but great fame throughout life. The native will be freeborn, not a slave, have unlimited power and never use his power for evil. He will secure his possessions by his own efforts and attain power of command. Now, you might want to note many toils. Oh yeah, I can vouch for that. And I know you've had many toils and dangers.
Yeah, one or two.
Yep. It simply comes from having a Leo ascendant. Whoever has a Leo ascendant needs to be very proud of it, because they will never use their power for evil. That's how it works. In my case, I have a Gemini ascendant, and I'm known as someone who teaches astrotheology and syncretism, who likes to sync subjects together to find the unity in them instead of dividing them. Well, I wonder what an MC in Gemini is all about. The MC in Gemini indicates an income from public or sacred occupations, but only at the threshold of old age. The native will be a cultivator of the gods and religious rites, obeyed by a large number of citizens, a seeker after hidden things, knowledgeable in many skills and systems. That would be syncretism. In the last age of life, he will be pointed out for his upright and correct life. I have a Sagittarius IMC. The IMC is, if the IMC is in Sagittarius, he will be fortunate and his income will come from his possessions, and many will fawn on him. He will give thanks to the gods for his good fortune and will be entrusted with sacred duties. The prosperity of his children will gladden him. Grief for lost children will be lightened by the happiness of more offspring. He will be skilled in all art, learned, and famous for his good fortune. Now, what did I... my descendant is opposite Aries. It's an Aquarius ascendant. And he says, but the descendant in Aquarius indicates a life of ups and downs. In some cases, there will be popularity and approval. Now, why am I mentioning the four? These are the four angular points. Marcus Manilius, the great astrologer of antiquity, said, pay attention to the angles. In fact, let me read. Bear with me. I'll pull this up. I'd like to pull up what Marcus Manilius says, so that each and every one of the listeners can go to their chart and look at the angles. The most important angle is the ascendant. Mine, as I said, is Leo, and I'm proud of that. Rest assured that if I were born an hour later or an hour earlier, I would have different angles, and I would be a different person. But I chose to be born at that time because I wanted this configuration, because it vibrates with who I really am. And this is what Marcus Manilius says. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening intently here. I've just muted out so I can hear you. Yeah, this is great. Carry on.
Yep. He says, these points are charged with exceptional powers, and the influence they exert on fate is the greatest known to our science. Because the celestial circle is totally held in position by them as eternal supports. These are the eternal supports of your chart. Now, there are other accidental features to your chart. For instance, your sun sign is important. Your moon is also important. The ruler of your chart is important. And the other aspects are important too. The planet that's on the ascendant, if there is one, is also important. But nothing, and I stress nothing, is more important than the four angles, the four directions. They are the cardinal directions of east, south, north, and west, and they tell forth who you really are. Now, a lot of people hide behind, and they hide their deficient charts, so to speak, behind masks, and they go forth performing all sorts of activities in a false manner. And so you don't get what you see, or you don't see what you get, if you know what I mean.
Either
and
or.
So I'm going to be very, very proud to publish this, and because unless an attacker has got a chart that is worthy of them attacking me for bringing syncretism to the world, I put the challenge forth to them that they show the world their chart, and I will expose what's in that chart and the reasons why they utter forth nonsense and lies. So be happy, Kate, and rejoice. I'm going to check your other angles. I haven't done that, and so let's talk about your other angles, but certainly be proud of your Leo ascendant. You chose that because you were here for the very specific reason to use your power for good. And I'm very, very proud to know you, and I've supported you from the moment that I ever spoke to you on Scottish radio in October of 2011, where we did a show together, and I knew from your voice that you were a walker in the path.
Oh yeah, well, most people just call me bitch, but okay, I'll take that one too.
Yeah,
it's all good. I just pulled up my own chart here, and I've learned. I got to say, I've learned so much. Yeah, I guess so. 4 point. My midheaven is in Aries, the MC.
The MC in Aries involves the native with powerful men, affords him his daily living from foreign investments. He will always be seeking possessions and luxuries, but his resources will be constantly in a state of flux, so that as often as he loses, he will gain the whole back again.
Okay, still working on that one, I guess. Yeah, it's still at kind of the zero, well, actually below 0 point, but, hey, listen, 0 point energy, that's where I'm at. Works for me.
The IMC in Libra, which you have, indicates many sufferings, government duties or public affairs, or loss of inheritance. The native will be second in command in his occupation and will be indispensable to his superiors. He will be able to earn a living from literary pursuits and be entrusted with hidden secrets. He will be the eldest among all male children, will arrive at an extreme old age and be honoured as by a notable funeral. But if Venus is found in the second house, no, you don't have Venus in the second house.
The 12th.
Yep, that's it. There's no more information there. Your descendant is in Aquarius like me. Life of ups and downs. There you go, Kate. But the other things of note in your chart is Jupiter in the 10th house. Let's have a look at that. And please, for the listeners, Firmicus Maternus is pretty much the most exhaustive astrologer in terms of resourcul information about aspects and ascendants and descendants. I've got Ptolemy, I've got Vettius Valens, I've got Marcus Manilius, I've got all the Arabic astrologers, I've got William Lilly, who wrote about the Christian astrology. Yes, 500 years ago, William Lilly in England wrote a masterpiece called Christian Astrology. I mean, yeah, for God's sakes, let's wake up, people, for God's sake, to this planet. Jupiter in the 10th house. Jupiter in the 10th house By day, which is what you have a diurnal chart. Your sun is in the 11th house above the horizon, makes heads of public businesses, leaders of important states, men on whom great honours are conferred by the people, anxious to be conspicuous for popularity. They always enjoy a good living. Some carry on the affairs of great men and emperors. Others receive rewards and prizes throughout their lives. Jupiter in this house indicates the greatest good fortune. If no malefic planet is on the IMC, which you do not have, but if one is, whatever honour or wealth was accumulated in early life will be diminished, wasted, or completely destroyed in later life, unless the descendant is strengthened by a benefic planet, which you don't have, and so none of that concerns you. But certainly anyone with Jupiter in the 10th house can be absolutely confident that even though, Jupiter likes attention and everything like that, he still does bestow great, wonderful, wonderful characteristics to the chart. And so, I can go on if you like, but
I just found it interesting, and I know you've mentioned it to me before, but I guess different things pop out at different times, right? With the whole seeking to be, inconspicuous. I believe, that's exactly my life. I've never wanted to, front row center. I just always kind of end up there, and I guess that's the lesson. Part of the lesson No,
Kate. It's actually it says to seek popularity, but that's
not
really?
Negative. Oh, okay.
No, that's not negative. Please.
No. I just find it interesting that that has never. It's like music and everything that I've ever done. It for whatever reason has always put me out front, and I forget who I was having a chat with about this. It was actually Greg from N5D. About playing in a band. I was just happy to grab a guitar and hang out back and strum along and hang out and keep the song together kind of thing. And I remember one day I opened my mouth and then said, "Okay, you get the mic." And it's like, oh, I really don't want this, but someone once said that you're pretty good at that. You should do it. And I'm thinking, really?
Yeah, but see, Kate, this is not talking about anxious to be conspicuous for popularity for evil ends or just for the sake of popularity. It's because you have something of treasure inside and you want to be known for that. You want to be known that you are a truth teller. That's what it's because Jupiter in the 10th house is virtuous. In the 12th house, which is what the chart of the Vatican for the new Pope is, it's disastrous. Disastrous. Jupiter in other houses is absolutely ruinous. He's a great benefic, but he has to be in the 10th house. Now, you've got Mars in the 11th house, and this is what it says. Be proud. Mars in the 11th house indicates many good things, increase in income and popularity with people. Often he bestows the marks of highest office. If, while he is thus located with the waning moon, Jupiter, no, okay. Well, that's it. There you go. Mars in the 11th house. You've got the goods. You need to use this as your character witness. It's no use, bribing your friends to say, oh, I'm a good person. It means nothing. And this is what politicians and lawyers and deviates do all the time. They say, oh, look, I've got a degree. I've got a PhD.
Yeah, without any witness in the heavens.
Yeah.
That really struck a chord with me when you were talking about that, and it was a beautiful resonant chord. It rang for a long time. It's still not ringing now. In that, with the ascendant in Leo, you had mentioned about you've got a witness in the heavens that will testify to that. And for me, that's what brought the as above, so below together in such a very poignant way, very poetic, actually. And I think if there was anything that I really wanted to convey to people And this is the one thing throughout my entire life, and I know this because this has always been the driving force, is the whole aspect of wanting the best for all, to carry that unconditional acceptance, unconditional love for others, and letting them dance their dance and observing it and going, how cool is that? But here we are in a society that demonizes anybody that doesn't have the same uniform as the next one. A prime example being my state of being. And it's not even so much well, guaranteed I make anybody's day interesting, but just the acceptance, and this is all I mean that's probably part of what I am, is just trying to show people that it's easy to accept others once you can accept yourself, and to a greater or lesser degree, I'm still not fully accepting of myself, but that's a lot of what I've been through in the last couple of years, in particular. The foundations got shaken, and deliberately so. As I was talking to my associate earlier today, I said, they knew exactly where to hit me in my most powerful point, my most intensely incredible. They must have had my chart. The most prolific aspect of me was exactly where they struck. They struck me in the heart, and they hit hard. They destroyed, years of friendship and relationship with Sue, my daughters. Effectively, everyone that I knew headed for the hills. Everybody. So I can count on one hand the number of people that were still there. And most of the people I deal with now are people that have come into my life in the last year and a bit. And the most beautiful, and not to say the people I knew before weren't beautiful. It's what I'm getting a chance to see is this proliferation of beauty with the rest of my human family, which is, there are no words to describe or define that. And people need to know that everyone that I come into contact with, and I do my utmost, and I hope, I can say without fail that I'm accessible. I make myself accessible to everyone, sometimes to my own detriment during the day. But people that show up, they have no idea how treasured they are, and that's part of the lesson I came here to learn. So this is one of the things, and the importance of what you teach, Santo, with regards to knowing thyself. And if you want it, here's the thing: if you want it laid out in front of you, if you want to see it, if you want to see a picture of yourself and what you chose, well, then just grab your chart. It'll tell you everything.
There's no lying. There is no lying.
This can't hide.
This is your blueprint. And every matter is established with one or two witnesses, and they must be 100% reliable, non-prejudicial, non-biased, and it needs to be from the mouth of the divine. This is the divine. This is who you are. Now, you being Geminian with Virgo moon means you get a double dose of Mercury. Mercury is also in the 11th house with Mars, together with the Sun and Venus. Very important, this. Mercury, I hope you don't mind if I go
No, I want people to know who I am, and this is the testifying from the heavens. So put me on trial. I am charged with being me, and I will let the heavens testify for me.
Mercury in the 11th house will make the natives intelligent. Of course, Mercury is the intelligence. And your Mercury is in Gemini, which is the best place for it to be. That's its domicile. So you have at least one domiciled planet. That's very, very strong. But Mercury is not the ruler of your chart. We'll get to that in a minute. It's strong. Mercury is your co-ruler. You have another ruler of your chart, and it's pretty obvious to me just by looking at your chart. But it will make the natives intelligent and effective in all kinds of professions. Men to whom important enterprises are entrusted. The Sun. Let's have a look at the Sun. in the 11th house. Well, when the sun is in the 11th house, the natives and their fathers will be fortunate and hold high positions. Their prosperity increases over time. The good fortune is even greater if Jupiter is with the sun, which it's not, or in trine aspect to him, or Venus. Of course, the great benefics are always helping the sun. Okay, that's it for that. And then you've got Venus. We'll just have a quick look at Venus. I don't think Venus is good in the 11th house by day, but we'll just check it out.
Actually, oh yeah, it is in the 11th. I thought it was in the 12th there for a sec. Yep.
I don't have anything for Venus by day. Venus in the morning star. No, you've got an evening Venus. No, but I remember looking at that in another place for you. Your Saturn and Venus are badly placed, but your Saturn indicates lawsuits and things like that in the 8th house. You know, and you've certainly gone through that. But
gone through a little bit of the legal stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but since your moon is in Virgo, the next sign is Libra. So this is how you can tell the ruler of your chart where the moon is. Simple. Wherever your moon is. Your moon is in Virgo. So the next sign after it exits Virgo is Libra. Now, Libra is ruled by Venus. That's the ruler of your chart. So that's the love coming out. Venus, your main ruler is Venus and your co-ruler is Mercury. There you go. Look, I mean, I can go on and on. You do have some negative things, though. You never, ever take charts and isolate anything. You never do that. You know, and even those 4 angles that I mentioned at the start, yeah, they are glorious. That's the best angles I would ever choose in any place in the universe. I will choose them time and time again to have a Leo ascendant and a Gemini MC. But there are other things. Now, you've got a couple of T-squares in your chart, and you know, an opposition between Saturn and the Moon. That's why I said to you that Saturn retrograding in the 8th house is not going to be good when it comes to things like lawsuits and things like that. You're going to have some toils, and that's already indicated by your Leo rising. It's a life of toils. You don't just have a nice, easy life like some other ascendants. You know, different ascendants give a life of ease. But the 4 angles tell the most. As Marcus Minelli said, their influence exert on fate the greatest known to our science, because they hold the whole circle together. And those angles actually correspond to the cardinal points. They are the cardinal and cadent, and they are inferior to the angles. So folks, pull out your charts, and if you do have negative things in those charts, well, simply just know that. Know that and work on it. We are here to sublimate whatever it is that we call it, the soul, the spirit, whatever you want to call it, the other higher part of who we are. But we have to cooperate with that higher part. We have to work with it by doing our good deeds now. Please don't ever think of putting little bits of cash, in other words, a salary in your pocket, and doing harm to other people, following orders. People who are donning these police uniforms come to your door to throw you out of your house because you haven't paid the pedophile bankers in Switzerland their little bits of paper which they own. Rest assured that you are harming yourself on the higher plane, and you are harming your future prospects, and all you can look forward to is perdition. And that doesn't mean total destruction. It just means a lot more suffering. And do you need it? Why are we donning uniforms, be it army uniforms, police uniforms, sheriff, judges, and harming people and profiting from their estates? It's the Inquisition. I've exposed this in my presentations. The court system is purely ecclesiastical, purely banking, and it is harming us. The bar are foreign agents. They need to go to jail, and the 3 million innocent people in American jails need to be freed. The pedophile priests need to be jailed and prosecuted. The lying politicians and the corrupt governments need to be dismantled, and they will be, because guess who's on our side? Light. And light destroys darkness. So hallelujah, friends, rejoice in the light. Be proud of your charts because you chose them, even if they have, cast a shadow on your life, because it's for your training. It's for your training. Nothing has been produced on this plane for any other reason other than to sublimate the unrefined essences that we still carry in us, obviously, because we are still in incarnation.
Well, yeah, I mean, excuse me, that's exactly as I see it, in that, and you said it so eloquently with regards to the only way we can evolve is to come to this plane and experience things in a very vulnerable state, where we have something to lose here, right? We have our game piece. You call them bodies, whatever you want to call them. So that puts a mortality into the mix, where when you, which we all are, infinite light, when you are in that realm of infinite, looking for experience, there's not much of a game. I've referred to it many times. The video games, you play it and win it and whatever, and then you get your cheat codes and you play a bit with that, and then you finally get the God mode. And it's fun. You can go through the game without getting touched, and obliterate everything that you need to, and blockages and whatever the case may be. That might be fun for 1 or 2 times through the game, but then the game becomes boring. And the only way you can really have a game is if there's lack or loss, and that's what what's his name? Ian Lungold wrote a beautiful paper called on lack and loss, and he describes exactly what you were talking about. I'm not sure which book you got it from, referring to coming here to experience, and only in this realm can you have that lack and loss, so that there's actually purpose. Because without purpose, you're not going to learn anything. And that's one of the things that keeps me going day after day, is I know I have a purpose. I know what my purpose is, and I have a voice. I have a means to deliver that voice, and I have a means to bring other voices to that same table equally, where we all meet at. I mean, I've said it time and time again. This is not my show. This is your show. This belongs to everyone out there. And the sooner people get that, I loved it. Hugh called in tonight, and Hugh knows. John Galt knows. Jeremiah knows. Gloria knows. There's so many people that know. They can just call in and be a part of the show, to be part of the change, and that's exactly the purpose I see. I did it in music, leveling the playing field for everybody. The stage was set. Didn't matter what level of experience you were. The kindergarten songwriters got up with the master songwriters, and they all sat together, and boy, oh boy, did everybody learn something from everybody. There was no, because someone is this, impresario on guitar and, you know, amazing vocals and all the rest of it. I mean, I get the job done. I'm happy with what I can do. And that's all I was trying to show people, that whatever your gift is, just share it. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a thing in the Kabbalion here. I wanted to bring this. I think I read it before. I wasn't sure if you were on the show, but I think you'll really, 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 really resonate with it with regards to you know, those that are walking around in uniforms and banker suits. I mean, I don't care if it's a suit, business suit. That's a uniform, guys. Doesn't matter if it's a different color. It's still the same kind of cut, Armani or otherwise. So you're not getting out of it. Sorry. That's why I like being me. I don't know what I'm going to wear any day. It's like, oh, I can wear what the hell I want. You know, I can pick one side of the closet or the other, and I can mix and match, and isn't that fun? You know, it's just because I don't care. I just choose to live. I dance my dance. I mean, that's the joy of Robert Morning Sky. I mean, he was one of the ones that actually, you know, taught me that it's okay to dance your dance. And so I finally did. And I started off the show talking about Mary. It was Mary Croft that gave me the key to turn, get out of my little prison that I was in inside, and just something she'd written. And I have the emails stashed away somewhere. But, I go right back to that. So see what you created, Mary? There you go. Now, I know I'm almost there. There it is. I got it. So I think I did read this to you, but I want to share this with everyone again, because I think people need to know that and this is not about having hope. This is about setting a reality in place for people. This is why we got to get out of the physical mentality and start getting into the heavenly one. That's why I like hanging out with you, Santo, because that's the only place you hang out. So here it is. Only those whose minds have been carefully trained along the lines of Hermetic philosophy for years, yes, those who have brought with them from other incarnations the knowledge acquired previously, can comprehend just what is meant by the teaching regarding these spiritual planes. And much of these inner teachings is held by the Hermeticists as being too sacred, important, and even dangerous for general public dissemination. The intelligent student may recognize what we mean by this when we state that the meaning of spirit, as used by the Hermeticists, is akin to living power, animated force, inner essence, essence of life, etc., which meaning must not be confounded with that usually and commonly employed in connection with the term, i.e. religious, ecclesiastical, spiritual, ethereal, holy, etc., etc. To occultists, the word spirit is used in the sense of the animating principle, carrying with it the idea of power, living energy, mystic force. And occultists know that which is known to them as spiritual power may be employed for evil as well as good ends, in accordance with the principle of polarity, a fact which has been recognized by the majority of religions in their conceptions of Satan, Beelzebub, the devil, Lucifer, fallen angels, etc., and so the knowledge regarding these planes has been kept in the Holy of Holies in all esoteric fraternities and occult orders, in the secret chamber of the temple. But this may be said here, that those who have attained high spiritual powers and have misused them have a terrible fate in store for them. And the swing of the pendulum of rhythm will inevitably swing them back to the furthest extreme of material existence, from which point they must retrace their steps spiritward along the weary rounds of the path, but always with the added torture of having always with them a lingering memory of the heights from which they fell owing to their evil actions. The legends of the fallen angels have a basis in actual facts, as all advanced occultists know. The striving for selfish power on the spiritual planes inevitably results in the selfish soul losing its spiritual balance and falling back as far as it had previously risen. But to even such a soul, the opportunity of a return is given, and such souls make the return journey, paying the terrible penalty according to the invariable law. What goes around, comes around, baby. So you wait with open arms, or you learn how to duck. But guaranteed, it's going to hit you one day or the other. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
That's from the Kabbalion. It's a very powerful truth, and people need to know this. That for all those, I mean, you can look at them for what they are. It's like the case with Tammy Bow and their her daughter yesterday, being evicted from the house, completely unlawfully, completely illegally, and even while things were still in the process. And I know what Tammy is doing, and she's undermining a lot of stuff on the inside. And she's put herself has for 13 years, put herself in the line of fire, to which she has lost very, very dear people close to her. And as I was listening to the call, I was on the show with them last night. As I was listening, as angry as I was getting at the 9/11 or 9/11, I call it 9/11. It's still another conspiracy, right? Funny that, just a coincidence. Listening to the cop that answered the phone, when 911 rang through, and obviously they knew it was going to come ringing through to the same guys. But this guy even admitted on the phone call that they were his officers. And when Tammy asked, well, what kind of paper have they got? He says, well, I don't know. That is a bold-faced lie. If they're your officers, you obviously know what they're there to deliver. You lying bastard. Now, there's the one side of it. The other side of it for me is the amount of pain I felt knowing what this being is doing to themselves, and the amount of slugging they are going to have to do, and they're going to have to experience the sniveling little banker Mike the Peanut, and the two and more cops that were there. They're going to experience the same thing too. So with me, it's always the good and evil aspect of things, and I feel for these guys that are doing these harms. I really do, because that's the golden rule that's going to come into play here. That which you wish upon others is exactly what you are wishing upon yourself. That's why I will never, ever wish ill upon anyone, because I'm just wishing it upon myself. What I will wish is that others get that concept, and the minute you start wishing well to others and creating a family of everyone, not just the blood that you consider your family. We're all related. We're all one here. As soon as you start looking at it that way, things start to get a whole lot more peaceful in your heart. But I will tell you, they will get more painful as well, to the degree of the amount of pity you have for these people that are slaughtering themselves. I'm not talking about the soldier that decides to blow a 9-year-old's face off, which happened in Libya. Pass that video around. That guy that did that pulled the trigger. And by the way, everyone that pays tax dollars paid for that bullet. I don't care if it's a 1/1,000,000th of a cent, but you paid for it. That shot this young girl. The amount of I can't even put it in words what this individual is going to have to experience to cleanse that of themselves, because that which you have done to others, you are going to have that. So be mindful of that. Every time you rip somebody off, or every time you shortchange or do anything nasty to anyone, it's going to come back and haunt you. And this is the measure, because I this is the reality I carry. And I've often wondered in my life, what the hell did I do in a past life to experience this? And I will tell you, what resonates most with me is I've probably been some pretty nasty beings in the past, and this is my comeuppance, this is my penance. But what I have found in this process, and probably the reason why I chose this chart, was I have found me. I have found compassion. I have found unconditional love. And I am in this game for everyone to the death. That's how important everyone is. And I will stand in front of anyone to take that for them. That's where I've got to. And I guess that's part of what this show, the shows that I do are about, are trying to convey that. Maybe this is my penance, I don't know. But what I will do is I will continue to walk, to seek, to find, and to share. And hopefully things that I come across, any knowledge that I can transmute into wisdom, because knowledge and wisdom are two different things. Knowledge is knowing something. Wisdom is knowing how to apply it. And that's what I'm doing all the time now, is applying that old knowledge in the form of wisdom, and I try to convey things. I was pretty nasty last night, but I do have fun, and I will say that. Don't ever mistake the things that I come across with, because I do like having fun, and I do like painting a big picture with a big roller, and last night I painted a good one. But I wanted to get the idea across about commerce, and that you are sleeping with the whore of Babylon, and any other manner of things that you decide to do within commerce, remember that there was someone there before you. So you get sloppy seconds every time. All right? Anyway, so I just wanted to share that. Mild rant over. Did I lose everybody? Oh, no.
No, we're here. I'm here. Yeah. No, beautiful. Well said, Kate. Yeah. It's high time for light to come to this planet, and truth.
Hear, hear.
It's quite simple. The governments are corrupt. The priests are pedophiles. The bar are lying traitors. The politicians are liars. Get them out of the way. Let's have a party. Let's have some peace and some fun, and we can do it. But we need to be responsible, and we need to wake up, and we just need to know who we are. And they are still going to be sodomizing us until such time as we do. So I think sooner will be better than later.
Yeah, it's up to us to awaken. You're absolutely right, But always remember, and this is for everyone listening, always remember that those that are creating harm for others, they have to be the ones to live through it themselves. They will get it. This is, everything that, I can just imagine the cops sitting around. The night they grabbed me, first time they kidnapped me at gunpoint from the house. The second time they, dragged me out by the hair, kind of thing. And I can just imagine them sitting around. The big guy that kicked the door in, and he's probably sitting around with a few beers and his buddies. Did you see how I kicked that door in and grabbed that bitch by the hair and all the rest of it? And they'd have a good laugh about it. And I got to tell you. See, here's the problem with coming against the transgendered. Every one of them that gets to experience this. They're complete opposite. They get to spend a lifetime in prison. That's why I know a lot about who and what I am, in that when you stop and think of a two-spirit being, we've been in prison our whole lives. And not until you actually experience this particular life, you will never fathom it. It's what it's like. It's like driving around in a 1972 Pinto, Fireball 500, and you hit the rear end of it and the car explodes, while you've got a brand new 308 GTS Ferrari sitting in the driveway that you have the keys for, but you're never allowed to drive it. That's exactly what it feels like. So maybe next time around I'll get the Ferrari. What do you think, Santo?
Yeah. Absolutely, that's what we are setting ourselves up for. The deeds that we perform go before us, and with the corresponding vibration. And if you have the right vibration in the afterlife, which is always around the corner, we only have short lives on this plane. Some live to 20, some live to 30. I'll be 50 next week. Some make it to 60, 70 or 80, but it's fleeting. It's like the grass that withers, as the Bible says. The life of man is like the vegetation of the field. It grows and then it withers. And if you look at a time-lapse, vision of our lives, you will see a baby in a crib, and then you'll see an adolescent. It grows up and then withers like a shriveled up prune, and then you see all caps letters on a tomb. You come from a womb, you go to a tomb. And everything that happened in between is just a dream. It's an illusion. But what you carry from that dream goes before you in every life that you will ever have. So don a uniform and hurt other people, you throw them out of their homes because you get a nice little paycheck in your back pocket, doesn't cut it with the vibrations of the heavens. You lose, you go to perdition, you go to suffering. It's simple as that. And I'm not talking about hell from the Bible, the dumbass churchgoers talk about, oh, you'll go to hell. It's not that. This is hell. And the administrators of hell are Satan, the devil, and his demons, i.e. the bar, the priests, the politicians, etc., the banksters. That's it. That class of four, they are it. They are the demons. That's Satan. That is Satan and the demons. This is hell. You can make it hell. You can make it.
Yeah, it's the hell we create for ourselves, and those of us that are awake and those listening know full well that we've had enough, and it's time to, we've awakened to that, and it's time to turn this hell into paradise, what it's meant to be. And you're so right. This whole realm here is hell. I had a friend of mine many years ago say exactly that. He says, you ever wonder if this place is actually hell? And we create our own hell. Those actions, and it's cyclic. You're right, absolutely. Everything is cyclic. That which we create today, we get to. These are the seeds we're planting. This is every life is the planting season for the next life, and what you are going to get out of it. It's a hard concept to get across, but if you can understand that if you're walking through life collecting karma coins, okay, doing good things, for the right reasons. This is not for service to self. Well, I'm going to do this really good thing and hopefully I'll get 10 good things back. No, this is just doing it for the goodness of doing it. For me, the world will be a changed place when someone that's going to spend, and I've said this before in the air, that are going to spend $8 on a coffee at Starbucks, and that's literally what they are. Instead, taking that $8 and going to maybe a deli or something and picking up a nice healthy sandwich and something healthy to drink and giving it to someone that's homeless. I think that would be money better spent than throwing an extra 2,000 or 3,000 calories into your already obese diet, and also feeding a company that is feeding the war machines. So, that's entirely your call. You do what you're going to do, but for me, that's when I'm going to start seeing the change. When people stop indulging in all these supposed luxuries, these distractions that are actually killing you. Take that same energy and put it into something that is going to benefit someone else. You'll feel better, I promise. It's like paying it forward at a coffee drive-through or a food drive-through, Not that I do the fast food thing, but for those that do, for now while they're still in existence, maybe pick up the tab for some family behind you. It might be $25 or $30, but I'll tell you, you're going to make 3, 4, or 5 people very shocked, and that is going to be an awakening of their own. That why would somebody do that? A complete stranger, and this is what we have to teach each other again, because there are no strangers here. We have how many millions of children starving, going to bed hungry every night, and people will take a run down to Burger Thing or Rotten Ronnie's and spend $30 or $40 on garbage. I often wonder, the $20 or $30 you spend on the garbage, that would get you a whole lot of organic produce where you could probably feed yourself and a handful of other people as well. What's to stop you from, if you've got a kitchen, a means to do this, to put together a whole bunch of different packed, meals and take a walk to the local bridge hangout where homeless people are. Try to find these people and make their day. There was a video passed around, a couple of guys will order a pizza, a healthy one, right? They'll order a pizza and have it delivered to a group of homeless people and pay for it. And they never know where the pizza came from. This is the kind of light we can do for people. You don't have to, it's like you see in the Salvation Army, money buckets hanging out. You know where that's going. That's going to one family. But yet they do it because they're doing it because of the religious aspect of it. Look, they still want more and more and more. It's sick. Instead of doing that, why don't you do it yourself for the people around you? We don't need organizations like the Salvation Army. We really don't. All they are profiting off the fact that we don't help our fellow man, and they'll help a little bit, and then the profits go elsewhere. You might want to look at the payrolls of these chief executive officers of these things, like the Red Cross and Salvation Army and what have you. It might turn your stomach. I know it certainly turned mine. They'll never get a dime out of me. United Way, no, I'll help my fellow neighbor. I think that's a better way. What do you think, Santo?
A better way? Well, I think the better way is definitely set before us. We're on it. We're on that path, Kate.
Follow your heart. So, hey, did you want to get into a bit of fun of the Rome Destruct chart, or what do you want to do?
Oh, yeah, it's all over for the Vatican. I did this in a Spanish show yesterday with Johnny, and I did the chart. First thing you'll notice with the Vatican... Have you got the chart there with you? Because and I'll tell you...
do you need the chart? Because I can swing it to you right now if you want it.
Yeah. Give it to me, and then I'll go through Firmicus Maternus, and we'll see how 7:06 p.m. on the 13th of March for the office of Pope is going to fare for the future. And
I grabbed that one yesterday. I'll grab you the first natal chart that Blake. I love Blake. He's so fun. He grabbed it and said, "Here, check this out." Some of the posts he has, and he's been posting up a lot of information. I need to copy and paste it to you. I think you'll find it quite fun. Wish Blake would phone in on Skype some night just to have a chat. Here we go. A natal chart for Rome. Okay, there it is in your one-on-one Skype. As soon as my computer decides to go, there it is. And I'll post the second one for you, which is the 7:06 p.m. Look at all the threes and 13s and the Rome conclave. Okay, so I've just sent both charts to you.
Okay, because this is pretty good. You're going to love this. If they do have astrologers looking after them, in this instance, they have let them down seriously, because it's all over for the office of Pope if we're going to go by Firmicus Maternus, and I think we shall, because they're pretty much gone. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, there it is. Okay, first thing you notice, remember we spoke about Jupiter in the 10th house? Good boy. Well, when he's in the 9th house, he's not such a good boy, especially when the sun is below the horizon, which tends to happen when it's 7:06 p.m. in Italy in March. So it's a nocturnal chart. Jupiter does not like nocturnal charts. Jupiter in the 9th house in a diurnal... nocturnal. We're up to Jupiter. Where are we? Jupiter in this house by night. Here we go. Jupiter in the 9th house by night makes dreamers of false dreams, who often tell lies about the gods. He also makes those who promise some hope to themselves from drawing lots, and who think they are divinely inspired from this activity. So there's the false prophet already. Then you go to Saturn in the 2nd house, and he does not like diurnal charts either. Those two hate, they hate nocturnal charts. If the sun were 15 minutes earlier above the horizon, it'll be totally different. But see, the astrologers have fallen asleep, or they're doing it deliberately to undermine the Vatican forever. It's doomed. 2nd house, Saturn, nocturnal chart. Saturn in the 2nd house by day. Dang. Where did I get the... there it is. Okay. Saturn in the 2nd house from the ascendant, he indicates serious illnesses and great reverses of fortune. Yeah, they've had enough fortune, I think, the Vatican. The native becomes the murderer of his wife and children, a frequent agitator of great public disturbances, and he wastes his material and paternal inheritances. He is slow in all his activities and suffers from constant bodily afflictions. Okay, let's go to Mars below the horizon. Although Mars enjoys a nocturnal chart, unlike Saturn and Jupiter, it's still not a good predicament for them. Mars in the 6th house indicates many evils. He will be harmful to children. Harmful to children? Yeah.
Yeah, what are the odds?
What are the odds? And make illnesses and many reverses in life according to the natures of the signs. Well, the nature of the sign is fiery, Aries. It's in the 1st degree of Aries. So it's going to be a very, very fiery, whatever I just read. The Sun in the 6th house. Now, the Sun normally is a good boy, but in the 6th house, many misfortunes are indicated by the Sun in the 6th house. He will always be harmful and bring long, serious illnesses. Mars on the ascendant indicates public offices and also wounds from weapons. This is interesting. The father in this case will die an evil or quick death. Hopefully that is in relation to the Pope, because that means father. Or be condemned on some charge. He's already been condemned on many charges. He's an animal, a criminal, a pedophile, and a murderer. And the whole inheritance be lost if there is no planet in the 10th house, which there isn't. So the whole inheritance of the Vatican will be lost. And let's have a look at Venus on the 6th house. Venus in the 6th house by day or night, if there is no planet on the MC, indicates wives who are lowborn, widows, sickly, and not agreeable to men. If a woman has Venus in this house, she will suffer great difficulty and danger in childbirth. She will frequently abort or have the fetus lacerated in her womb and brought forth by physicians. It's pretty incredible, man. It's pretty incredible, the placement of planets, people. So Venus just does not like the 6th house. Neither does the Sun, neither does Mars. It's the house of illness. It's the house of sickness and service to mankind. And all of those planets in the 6th house are not aspecting with other planets. Now, what that means, simply, is that Mars, the principle of action, the Sun, the principle of spirit, and Venus, the principle of love, are missing in action. Their actions will be decisive, but they withhold their positive principles. Mars is withholding action. The Sun is withholding his spirit and blessing, and Venus is withholding her love from this decision that was made in this nativity chart, mundane chart that was cast at 7:06 p.m. 13th of March. So it's doom and gloom. Doom and gloom.
I was going to say, and deservedly so. And Hugh, you're being awful quiet. Any comments?
I had a call and I'm enjoying the show, and I don't know if he would have the time, but I'd be curious on what my birth date says, because I'm bringing a lot into play here with economics and spirituality, transparency and morality and all kinds of good stuff.
Hey, Sandro, you feel like guinea pigging him?
Yep.
I don't know the time, but I was born on September 22nd, 1944 in Manhattan, New York City.
Do you know roughly morning, afternoon, evening, night?
They didn't put it on the birth certificate, and I never went back to see if there's any way of finding out.
Okay.
Manhattan's one word, isn't it? Yeah. Why do I get Manhattan, Indiana? I only get Manhattan, Indiana. Let's put New York, though.
Yeah, New York.
Yeah. Now, I've got 22nd of September, 1944. So you're right on the cusp of Leo and Virgo. Very, very hot. Very hot. I'm going to cast it for midday, and we'll see what we can tell. There's no way I can do the house reading, but your moon most probably is it's in Scorpio, but in the 26th degree. But if you were born, say, 7 hours later, it'll be in Sagittarius. So what kind of reactive nature do you have? Do you have a deep deep, like emotional and reactive nature, or would your moon be in Sagittarius, as in, Sagittarian moon is quite a jovial, reactive nature. It's much more jovial than Scorpio, put it that way.
I tend to, I'm not really outgoing, but I stand in my truth, and I tend to be set up quite a bit, and then I reversed everything on the people that set me up, and then that's their karma. But I basically want to bring good things to help other people, and these
okay,
are all...
well, Hugh, just to clarify, what Sano needs from you, he's trying to determine the chart, is this. If somebody pisses you off, do you handle it viciously, or do you kind of, shrug it off a bit more?
No, I just, as you were alluding to, that's a shame that they did that, because that's going to come back on them, and I will just stand with the story and let it sort itself out. People that have
sounds like a Sag to me.
Died.
Yeah,
I didn't ask for that.
Yeah, Sag. So you're probably born... See, I've cast this for midday, right in the middle, but being that the moon is on the 26th degree of Scorpio, if you were born, say, 10 o'clock at night, I'll cast another one, and I'll do it for... say, 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock, just to be clear, to show you that the moon will... I can't tell your ascendant, of course, but the moon, we probably want to sort that one out for you. That will be a big, big favour for you, because I think it's very important to establish where the moon is. Did you say 44?
Yes,
Yeah, right in the middle of the war. My mother was born in 42. Interesting. There was a Sirius A and Sirius B were playing around in that epoch, which, according to some, is the reason why the war was on. It was a conjunction with Sirius A and Sirius B and our sun. Now, New York. Oh, right, 2 words. Okay, New York, New York. Let's have a look. Let's see if your moon... Yeah, see, now, after about 9 o'clock in the evening, your moon is now in Sagittarius. So anyway, look, you need to meditate on that and really work out. There's a big, big difference. It's probably the best place to have your moon, because the reactive nature of a Scorpio moon and a Sagittarius moon is a world apart. Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and it is aggressive and intensely emotion in its reaction. Sagittarius is much more humane. Of course, the man is coming up out of the horse, and so he's rising above in his nature, and he's much more jovial. Jupiter is jovial. It's happy. It is much more happy-go-lucky. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, you want to do that to me? Okay, no worries. You can do that to me. But Scorpio would never do that. Scorpio is quite a vicious, just like an Aryan moon. It's a very vicious, at times, reactionary moon to have. So I'll leave that up to you. But the ruler of your chart... okay. 29th degree of Virgo is... Mars, yeah. Yeah, it looks like the ruler of your chart is Mars. So you'll be quite martial in your demeanor, in your comportment. Mars is definitely the ruler. Possibly Jupiter as co-ruler. But it's beautiful to see that your... It's 22nd of September. I said the cusp of Leo and Virgo. Sorry, I'll correct that. It's the cusp of Libra and Virgo. Nice place. You've got a nice spread of planets in Mercury. You're in Virgo and Libra. You have Venus in Libra, which is automatically 5 points in essential dignities. She is domiciled in her true home. That's beautiful. You also have Mercury in Virgo. That is the true home of Virgo. You have two planets that are beautifully, beautifully placed in your chart. And your Jupiter is in conjunction with Mercury. That's nice. You don't want Mercury to be in conjunction with Mars or Saturn. That's very troublesome. But with Jupiter, that's nice. They look after each other. Neptune is very, very close to the Sun, which is very interesting in Libra. Adds a bit of inspiration to the Sun, to your spirit. And, wow, yeah, it's nice that you've got those planets in their homes. That gives you a lot of strength in terms of essential dignities. Cell salts that you would be well to take would be Gemini, Cancer, and your 3 cell salts from Virgo to Scorpio. Do you know much about the cell salts, Hugh?
No.
Yeah. Well, if you go to your health food store, they normally have the Schussler tissue salts. I've done a presentation on that called Secret of Secrets, the Elixir of Life in Your Body. And I've presented the information about the 12 cell salts that make up the body, and they correspond to the 12 signs. Now, I see a few afflictions in your chart. There's a couple of squares. You don't have any oppositions, but when I see squares, and in particular Saturn, for instance, Saturn is in the 9th degree of Cancer squaring with Mars. They are two malefics. So I would suggest the 9th degree of Cancer is, I don't have anything specific, but it's your skin. Your skin, and Mars in Libra, the 16th degree of Libra, is eczema and stroke. I'd be taking the Libra cell salt, which will, pretty much strengthen that, and that is sodium phosphate. Virgo is potassium sulfate, and Scorpio is calcium sulfate, but the Cancer cell salt is calcium fluoride. I'd be taking that, and you heard it right, fluoride. Calcium fluoride is good for your teeth, your skin, your hair, and all of that stuff. It's the elastic salt. It gives the body elasticity. Stay away from, that's the stuff that the banksters are putting in your water to keep you dumb. But take plenty of doses, plenty of calcium fluoride. And Gemini cell salt is potassium chloride. You've probably forgotten all that, but you can replay this audio right, and get that. But see, the cell salts, they're just crystals. It's just mineral. You're adding mineral content to your body, and those crystals will fortify these debilities in your chart. Now, you may not have the skin and eczema problems because of other things. This is why it's so important to know the time you were born, because if a malefic is in the 6th house or in the 2nd house or perhaps the 8th house or the 12th, these are the houses that indicate your health. So you might have dodged a bullet like myself. I've got Saturn in the 6th house. I should be a very, very sick little boy, but I've never had a sickness in my life except for one headache. So, this doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have these things. But take note that affliction in Cancer with Saturn in it, that's going to be a chronic thing, something to do with your skin. And the other one in Libra, the eczema, that'll be acute. because Mars is fast, therefore, he generates acute illnesses. But certainly everyone should be taking the cell salts. The German biochemist of the 18th century that developed the knowledge of the 12 cell salts based on much more older wisdom and science that came through the likes of Hipparchus and Paracelsus and Galen and all of those geniuses who used astrology to cure. Paracelsus used astrology, period. He did the person's chart and he gave them minerals, just like Dr. Sebi's doing in Honduras, and he's cured, many diseases. In fact, he's cured every disease because he says there's only one disease, and that's the compromising of the mucous membrane. And he won his case in the 80s in the Supreme Court in the United States because they tried to sue him, and he was required to bring specimens, or he was required to bring people that he'd cured to court, and they wanted 9 specimens because he noted 9 of the incurable so-called illnesses that he had cured, and he decided that he would bring 78 people to court, and he won, and he walked out of there free, and he's still curing people with herbs. And Paracelsus did that, the great astrologer of the 15th century, and he did that by what I'm doing. You see, I went straight to Saturn and Mars because they're squaring, and Saturn is cold and dry. Mars is hot and dry. So your eczema thing will be born from heat, from the heat that Mars generates. And the cancer thing will be born from coldness. So what he would do is he would counteract that with the opposite humours. So for for a Saturn affliction, he would give you herbs that were hot and moist to counter Saturn's cold and dry. And you can cure anything like that. That's how you cure things. There's no such thing as treatments. Big Pharma give treatments. Curing is done by astrology, pure and simple. And we're going to bring that science back. Paracelsus is going to be reborn.
That's fascinating. Thank you very much.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, exactly. I froze up a little bit there. I missed the last little bit. That was my computer freezing up on it. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Again, and you said it. The ill industry. I don't call it health industry because they're not interested in health. You can't make any money with healthy people. Is all geared to maintain the illness where you're comfortable and where you think it's not there anymore. But the cure absolutely is what they want because they don't sell piss pots of money full of drugs and poisons that they are dumbing down people with and what have you. So again, it's who are you going to trust? Yourself, your own body, or are you going to listen to some quack that has been educated by big pharma? And that's all it is.
Oh, yes, and don't forget to mention, Kate, that they get a slice of the profits for pushing Prozac onto you and all their other shit, and their pockets are pretty full, those doctors out there. Good on you, doctors. And pay attention to the word doctor, doctor the books. There's a lot of other connotations to the word doctor. I'd be going to a naturopath or an astrologer and bypass these creeps.
Mm-hmm. Again, you go back to the only word they're missing in front of doctor is witch. At which point I would, we got to get back to shamanism and letting nature heal itself. I mean, that's the thing. I was watching a little clip TED clip, of course, that was removed with Graham Hancock talking about his ayahuasca experience, and how through the 150,000 different plants in the Amazon, the lungs of the earth in the Amazon jungle, to pull out the one with the dimethyltryptamine and the other with the means to nullify that which is in your stomach that nullifies dimethyltryptamine. So, out of over 150,000 species of plants alone in the Amazon jungle, they found the only two, and of course the spirits told them, as that's what the shaman will tell you, which plants to put together. And there it is. When people connect with Mother Earth, Mother Earth will connect with you. And what we are living in right now is an abomination. Again, another, it's another papering over of nature with synthetics. Look at the word synthetic, right? Syn, theos, tick. I could break it down further if you want, but I think those three words are pretty, theos, God, tick. Well, we all know what ticks are. They're not very good for your body either. And sin, And that can be broken down into a myriad of different things as well. The moon goddess sin and social insurance number. It's amazing how everything interplays with everything. All you got to do is keep your eyes open, ears open, and put them together, and you'll be fine. So, what do you think of that, Hugh?
It's amazing, the information that's right at hand for everyone. I keep discovering things in my past, and today I came across something before I was even born, and evidently it's a picture of my father with his second wife, I believe. He didn't have any children until my mother, but it was back in 1938 on a front page newspaper, and it was about him in a flight from New Hampshire down to New York, and the pilot had lost the engine power, and it was in a rainstorm over New Rochelle, and they were just skirting tops of buildings, and he managed to put the plane down safely in a driving range, a golf driving range. But on that same page, I noticed at the bottom right-hand corner, and this is where information is so interesting. This is 1938, and it said that the Vatican endorsed the Franco regime. It was interesting.
I mean, yeah, what are the odds of that, right? I mean, at the end of the day, really, what are the odds of that? Oh, good read, Santo.
Yeah, and there's still people defending the pedophile priest. Look, I posted yesterday the criminal record of this new pope, and I get this dunce on Facebook who I just recently booted him off. I titled the article, "Another Criminal Dog as Pope, Killers and Pedophiles is all they are. The sooner they go to hell, the better." And then this dunce, supporting him, says this, and I booted him off. He writes in, and I've got plenty of support, but believe it or not, he says, "Santos, for one so wise, how the hell did you get so ignorant? Lay off the new pope. Judge a man not by the company he keeps, but by his actions. So far, I'm impressed with his actions, as I was by Pope John Paul." He didn't happen to notice that Pope John Paul protected a gazillion pedophiles somehow. Pope John Paul's actions to oust communism in Poland that led to all of Russia. I think he meant the fall of Russia. And the countless other things he did. So do yourself a favour, learn the life story of Pope John Paul. His name's Brian Alexander. He's a dunce, and he's off my page of light. So I wrote back, "Hey Brian, thanks for sharing your ignorance with us on this page. I'm looking for trolls to kick off. Good riddance, and good luck with your stupidity, moron. You need it." And he writes back, can you believe it, with cheek, because I didn't knock him off fast enough. I should have just dumped him on the spot, but I was busy in between radio shows this morning. This is what he answers. let he who hath not sinned cast the first stone. I'm speaking like a dunce because I'm speaking how a dunce would speak. In other words, Brian Alexander, chief dunce of the moment. And may it hit me squarely in the temple and knock me dead. Remember, one's actions defile himself. Your actions are childish. People who refuse to admit a mistake. Oh, I made a mistake in declaring that the office of Pope is an office of pedophilia. Oh, sorry, world. I must be the first one to have made that mistake. Or refuse to try to understand that they don't understand are fools, whatever that means. Always keep an open mind, Santos, and be willing to change one's perspective. Yeah, okay, I'm willing to change my perspective. I might even become a pedophile and join the other 1.2 supporters of pedophile dunces that are Catholics and make a moron of myself and walk the road to perdition too. Brian, you dunce.
Oh, Santo, I love you.
and if you want to see my other X-rated comments, you have to go to my Facebook page. But he's been dealt with. And look, I'm just looking for trolls on the page just to boot them off so I can have 5,000 good people that understand the ways of light. I'm not going to tolerate dunces anymore, man. We've had the blind leading the blind for thousands of years now. Their game is up.
You know, it goes right back to the whole thing of what I've been talking about too, you know. It's like people keep voting politicians that promise them this, promise them that, promise them the other, and they never follow through with it. But the next one's going to be different, you know. And then, of course, same promises, same unkept promises, same tax rising, same freedom stealing. And they go, oh, well, maybe the next one. And, you know, we've been, how long have we been doing this? You know, here we are trying to solve a problem using the same, you know, the same solution, you know, process every single time. And that, by definition, and we've said this many times, is insanity. You know, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. And I'm sorry, but, you know, for the last couple of, well, wherever long popes have been in power or whatever, but since they've come into play, I mean, we've had the Spanish Inquisition, you know, we had you brought up the Franco thing, you know, World War II, supporting the Nazis. I mean, Ratzinger, former Hitler Youth, you know, and he can say all he wants about not wanting to be a part of it and all the rest of it. But, you know, countless priests, and I'm not going to we'll just pick on the Catholics tonight, or the Roman Catholic out of Rome, the whole thing that's going on there. You have, you know, countless pedophile priests, you know. They took the Bible a little too literally, and I don't remember reading anywhere in it where you had to be celibate. I think that was something that was brought on. But as I've said before, the only celibacy you need to really enact in your life is to stop sleeping with the whore of Babylon. And,
yeah.
You know,
these types, you know, these are the types that think if you drive the bank robber to the bank to kill a couple of tellers and steal $1 million, but your hands are clean because you're just driving him, you know, you're just a taxi service. You're not an accomplice. I think drivers of the Catholic Church, sycophantic idiots who go to, you know, the Vatican Square, the square of shame and murder, and salute. Oh, we've got a new pope. Abemus papum, oh, another pedophile to lead us and sodomize us. We're all getting booted out of our houses so that all of our wealth can go to the Vatican. Rejoice, we have a new asshole to lead us. Brilliant.
Yeah, the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
We got just a little over 2.5 minutes, so I'm going to do some quick thank yous, and I want to share one little thing. Thank you, Critical Mass Radio. Paul, Lisa, the crew at Critical Mass, for giving us this platform every single night, 7 nights a week. And starting a week Monday, I chatted with Greg from In5D. He will be starting up on the 25th of March. His first show with his co-host Heidi. And as far as I know, that's where we're at. And you mentioned about the Vatican there, and I had, I believe it was Susie had tagged me from Spain. And she lived in northern Spain, and one of the churches had asked for, the local community to bring in all their unwanted gold jewelry because they wanted to put a new steeple up on the church. It's not bad enough that they're fleecing everybody and the rest of it, but they put out the call, and this is how gullible people are, right? And they do it. They bring their unwanted gold jewelry, junk jewelry. Anyway, so any final comments from you guys? We got a minute and a half here.
Yeah, one quick one. I'd love Santos to comment on. This is the first time I ever saw this. This new pope has such humility. He had the Queen bless him first. I don't know which way it went, but that is quite bizarre. I mean, she's now the leader of the church, or what?
Oh, they're all disgraceful. They are shameless, disgraceful animals, and I've shown how they are magnetically connected to the demonic animal chakra called the dark satellite, one of the animal chakras of this earth that is highly unevolved, and they are directly connected to it. And according to Thomas H. Burgoyne, the cardinals of Rome and the animal dogs that rule them magnetically are the two halves of all the evil that we have ever experienced on this planet, period. So the office of Pope is the office of arsehole of the universe. That's all it will ever be.
That's so good. They need to rename the Vatican. That's beautiful. Well, guys, I can't thank you enough for being here tonight. It was a calmer show of shows of late, but definitely a lot of good sharing tonight, and I think a very good message carried across. Makes me feel good about the responsibility.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to you, Kate.
Well, thank you. Yes, the blood green.
Just don't go out with this guy. He'll keep you out all night. Patio Furniture. You familiar with him?
Yeah. And what was the other one? He's not a very good shot. Ricochet. Yeah, another one. Yeah. But anyway, much love to you guys. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Much love to you all, and we'll catch you tomorrow night on. I guess it's Where Eagles Soar with Kyler Davenport. We're into the recording now, by the way. But yes, thank you guys so much. That was wonderful, Santo and Hugh tonight. That was just a beautiful coast of an evening. I loved it.
Thank you. And
thanks,
stay strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for sharing your chart and mine, and of course Hugh's. So there we go. We had a trine tonight. Beautiful. But and Tony just tagged me, so I have to give him a quick call and see what he's up to. It's the first time in 2 days I've heard from him, so I'll find out the latest of where he's at and what he's up to. But if you're going to be about, I'll mention to Tony as well, Santo. Maybe he might want you in the call as well. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay, so stay tuned. Go potty, and I'll tag you and let you know. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, listeners, again, for another great evening and a great purpose to be here. Much love to you all. See you tomorrow night on Where Eagles Soar with Kyler Davenport and yours truly. Take care. Much love.